Well, ain't that just the fucking sexiest picture you've ever seen? Two internationals together. Only mine's not hooked to the baler. It's gotta be about the damnest nice thing you've ever seen in life. Like, I miss the old days when there used to be two tractors here in the field. And what I mean by that is when the young guy was here and his dad was here doing this, baling. They were baling together. But that's not the old timers' tractor. So that's mine. That's mine. So yeah, hook to the rake. Not a big deal. So I found this piece of wire in the road. I want to keep it because I think it's alright, but I have no good place to put it. So whatever. Could just put it on the tractor. Let's see. Probably could just throw it in the cab, but I got enough crap in the cab as it is. So I guess if I need a piece of wire, it'll be right there. That'll be alright. So, yeah. Today's Sunday. So, of course, no baling. Nothing's going to get done today. But, you know, and I noticed here. Oh, that must be a... I was wondering why I was missing a chunk of rubber here, but I think that's where you can break the seal. Or break the bead, I mean. It's right there. I never noticed that before. I guess they all probably have it. But anyways, I don't know how many bales are in this field. I haven't counted yet. See, I don't know what time he got done, but this son of a bitch is done. Well, the big square field anyway, that's kind of more or less what I was focused on. I wanted to rake everything. Yeah, it's alright. So, it's cool inside, but it ain't wet. So that's all that matters. So anyways, I raked all this. I put it all together when it was dry. Baled the shit. Well, he baled it anyway. So the problem is, it took me a while to do all this. And I had to redo those windrows down there, the ones that I doubled together when they were wet. I just went and opened them back up. I didn't bother doing anything nuts to them. I just pulled one swath away from it because they were kind of stuck together, but I just peeled them back apart. So the young guy thinks there's going to be more hay here this year, which I do agree with, because and then where the new hay is planted, there are 15 bales in the big field, and in that little piece here, that little strip, there's one bale there. But I don't know if I really want to include that bale, because I think that bale has other grass in it. So roughly there's 15 or 16 bales, but I don't know if I really want to include that one, because yeah, it's in with the new hay, but I don't know if it's got any of this other grass mixed with it, so I don't know if I should count that or not. So 15 or 16. 15 if I don't count it, 16 if I do. So 15 or 16. For here, I seriously don't know. I haven't counted. And I probably should count because we're done here, so it'd be... Oh, he missed a strip. Oh, maybe he'll bail it on his way over here next time. So, problem being, you can see that there's storms starting to brew. So, yeah. So, freaking wind. There's still hay over here yet. that I did not rake. By the time I got done raking what I had to do here, it was already 8 o'clock. I was hot. I was tired. I was getting low on water. So, and the young guy said not really to rake any more than we can bale. So, I figured, well, this here would be enough to keep him going until, I figured, at least 9 or 10. I don't know. I mean, he was baling pretty good, so I don't know how long. I mean, I left at 8 o'clock, so I don't know when he left, but I was done at 8. I did make 2 rounds here. You can see this windrow was flipped, but that was only just because I was trying to, you know, at the time I was doubling them together when I shouldn't have been, I guess. So, but now there's a lot of hay here yet to rake, but I didn't rake it last night, and I'm not going to rake it today because they're talking storms. So I figured, well, there's no sense of flipping the hay, it getting rained on, and then having to flip it again. So, no sense to that. And the young guy said not to do it really anyway, because he says that you don't know if the baler could keep up. If you had 2 balers, it wouldn't be an issue. But I wanted to see if it even dried underneath. And not really. Well, I mean, it did a little bit. I mean, yeah, I don't know. If it wasn't going to rain today, if it would not rain today, come Monday, I probably would not have to flip this. I would probably just let him bale it as it is. But since it's going to fucking rain today, it's probably going to need... It's going to need a day to dry. Seeing here, still a little damp. Yeah. There won't be no point to raking because it's going to rain again today. So, but if I do have to rake, this is what's left to rake. This here. And I doubt I'll be raking the ex-mayor's field. I mean, that's not my field. Well, technically, actually, a little piece of that is ours, from what the Google Maps says. So, but yeah, still got to rake all this yet. If I do have to rake it, he did make one round anyway. To see what it was like, but it was too wet yesterday. But the young guy thinks there's going to be more hay here this year, which actually it does look like there's going to be, just from eyeballing it. I think there's more hay here than there was last year, and I know that for sure because we got 15 in there. See, there's that 16th bale right there somewhere, if you can see it. It's just barely peeking over the hill there. But like I said, I don't know if I want to include that one because I don't know if it's got this kind of grass in it or if it's just strictly that new grass. So there's 15 or 16 of those new bales. Well, that's actually right around the goal that I was hoping for this year. Remember how last year we only got 8? And I was saying, well, if we got at least maybe 15, that would be pretty good. Well, we got it. We might even have one extra one, which is even better if you wanted to include that other little guy. But like I said, I haven't counted these yet, and I'm not really probably going to. I imagine he's keeping track of it on the baler. So, because I count these fields separately. I'm not sure how the young guy would do it, but the new hay that we planted is separate. That's how I look at it compared to the rest of the stuff. Because that's a different type of grass. And this is just natural grass. This is just what grows here naturally. So that over there is man-made. You know, it's man-seeded. So we seeded that. So you could say it's a man-made crop. But this is natural. We've done fuck all of this. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what we get out of there. There's still a lot of hay in there yet, and there's alfalfa in that. There's more alfalfa back there than there is in this piece, but overall, I think there's definitely more hay here than there was last year, but I would have to count them, and it would be easier to count them from the top of the dike. But it's too hot, and it's going to rain, and we're not done baling anyway. I imagine he's keeping track of it, so I'll let him count them out or tell me what he's made. But the main thing I wanted to focus on was at least trying to get this baled up. I wanted to get the whole thing baled up, but there just wasn't going to be enough time, because by the time I got to over there, it was already like 7:30. It's like, well, if you do a double flip, you know, and work your way to one end, by the time you got back to the other end where you started, it's already going to be dark out. It's not going to dry anyway. So, and I think this probably kept him going probably until 10. I don't know. But there's definitely a lot more hay here this year than there was last year. But that's because we had actual grass this year. We've had a lot more grass than flowers, but we still had flowers. But there's grass in here now too, so the cows probably won't complain too much. But we already picked out our spot where we're going to take our share of the hay from. And I'm not going to say because that's a secret. So, yeah, there goes the truck. But yeah, that's just something you don't see. I haven't seen that in quite a few years. Two internationals side by side. I didn't even think he'd park them like that, but I guess he wants them to park them neatly. I imagine, because it was the second son there, the second oldest son, he was here bailing. I noticed he likes to take fancy pictures too. So, because we were parked over here along, you know, on the trail. He parked behind me because he wanted to talk to his dad. And while he was talking to his dad, I heard him snap a picture. He was taking a picture. I don't know if he got my tractor in it or not, but not that I care. I don't give a shit. But it is what it is. But you got two internationals side by side. That's not something you... That's just something you don't see. But yeah, I don't even know how much fuel I got left because it's under half. Well, it's under, the gauge is under half now, so I don't know. This tank actually, yeah, this tank's empty. Yeah, this one's empty, so the bottom one's probably still full yet. I don't know how much fuel he's got in his tractor, but you can just tap him. You know, he might have topped his off, but it feels like there's something down here, so he might have a little bit left in that tank. But if your fuel gauges don't work, you can always just tap the tanks, because these are just like plastic tanks, which which I guess helps reduce weight, but as I can't tap mine, my bottom one, tire's too close. So I have to rely on the fuel gauge. But the fuel gauge works, I think, for the bottom tank. It just don't work for the back tank. So, but that's because the fuel level gauge thingy's kind of dipped. It needs a new one. I somewhat got it to work, but just by cleaning it, but I think it's just that it's getting shot. There's nothing left of it, so needs to be replaced. But yeah, so this is our rake. This is, well, my our rake. We worked it pretty hard this year. I mean, this is its first real job of the year. We've never used it before. I mean, I used it a little bit for that, you know, that bridge over there when we were raking that shit up. But that wasn't really nothing. That wasn't really a good workout. That was just more or less a test to see if it worked. Sure enough, it worked. But looks like we got her bailed, at least this part anyway. I'm still worried about that over there because we didn't get to rake that and we didn't get to bail it. But I don't want him bailing it wet, so he made a good choice on stopping there. I was afraid that maybe he would just fucking keep going and going and going, but I think he's a smart kid. He knows when to call her quits. Of course, I mean, his dad told him to kind of stop, but because with it going to rain, there was no sense to even flipping it or even trying to bail it because it was too wet. The bales would just rot if they were wet. See, now, like on this guy's tractor, he pulled his tire out because he was sick of them being so narrow. So now you can tap your bottom tanks. I can't do that on mine because mine's too narrow. Looks like he got a new bottom seat too. That's what I got to do. What the hell am I waiting for? So, but yeah. Yeah. Not much to talk about. I guess I'll probably snap a few pictures while I'm here too, I guess, since well, it was picture day yesterday, everybody was taking pictures. So, but yeah. Two tractors side by side, that's not something you see every day, but well, not at this farm anyway. But there was no sense to trying to even rake that. Like I've said, it was too wet and getting too late in the day. By the time I would have gotten it raked and put into a windrow, it would have been dark, and then there would have been just no sense to keep going. It just would have been a waste of fuel and time. So, but yeah, it pisses me off. It pissed me off that it rained yesterday, or the day before, I mean. Because then I probably would not have had to come out here with the rake and rake. I would not have had to have done that. And then we probably would have been done baling. So, yeah. So anyways, that's what's going on. I gotta replace that antenna. That antenna is broken, doesn't work. You can still transmit on it, it's just that I imagine your range is severely affected by it, so I'm not going to talk on it unless I absolutely need to. I can get to the house. That's kind of what matters for right now anyway. But yeah. So, finally put the old tractor to work yesterday. She put in her share of hours of work. And so did this old son of a bitch of a rake. Which, surprisingly, works just fine. Probably going to need new bearings pretty soon, though. I imagine for sitting 30 plus years, the bearings are getting dry, but they're getting shot. But whatever, screw it. I'm not going to worry about it. So, that's what's going on. Yeah. Shit's been baled and shit is done, pretty much. We're about a little over, I don't know, 70% done. I don't know. There's still a lot over there yet, but that's a lot to do. He's got a little screen in his. He's got a screen inside of a screen. That's interesting. I don't have that. I just got the mesh screen. But he does a lot more. See, I just got this metal screen. He's actually got like window screen in front of this. Because I probably should do that too, but I'm not bailing, so do need a new grill though. Oh well, get a new grill for it someday. But if you think my grill's pretty banged, well, his grill's actually not too bad. He's this cracked out. This here. That's the problem with these internationals. They make these things out of cheap plastic, and well, they're probably not cheap, but I mean, how old are these fucking tractors? I think these things are 40-something years old, so I imagine plastic will get kind of brittle after a while. And if I remember right, the young guy's 1086 is the same year as mine, 78. So we both own a 78 International, except mine's just got more balls than his, but he's still got one up on me because he's got a 4-speed and I got a 3-speed, and 3-speeds suck, but just look at it. Look at that sexy setup. Now just picture, how are you doing? Just picture if I had an 855 baler hooked to mine and he was here baling right along with me. That'd be one hell of a damn good setup. Except I would definitely put my duals on, or at least one dual. He's got one dual on as well. But I got duals for mine. I just don't have any. I don't have them on because I don't have a use for them. All the stuff that I do is all so small that you can't have the damn duals on. So but yeah, anyways, I guess that's pretty much it. I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. I wanted to see how much hay he got baled. Well, he got it all fucking baled, which is good. I'm happy about that. So but you can see a storm that's starting to brew. There's supposed to be one that's really supposed to start brewing at 1 o'clock, and that's supposed to come over us around 2 o'clock. It's going to be coming from that direction. And then after that, I don't know, I think it's only supposed to be 1 or 2 storms that come through here. I'm not 100% sure. I know of one, but I don't know if there's supposed to be a second one or not. But then I think tomorrow, which would be Monday Mother was saying it's supposed to be awful cool out. So again, for it being cool, not really good for baling weather. Because if the sun was out, it would help. And windy. Right now the sun is very powerful, and it's only like noon. And it's not even quite noon yet. And it's powerful. So, but yeah. So, we'll see how much more baling we can get done. I'm just glad to get this baled up and done. You know, I wanted to get the whole thing done, but raking took forever. And then it was getting kind of impossible to keep ahead of the baler. I think the baler was just about caught up to me. But what was nice though, because I was kind of, I was kind of watching him as he was baling too. When I was putting two of those windrows together, I think about 2 or 3 bales came out of one windrow because they were doubled together, so it made a real thicky, juicy windrow there. So it, he was stopping quite often, which is good because then, the baler is getting plumb right full of hay. He's making less rounds. There's less swaths to take. He said his rake was shot, so yeah. Yeah, he said he was going to retire this baler, but I don't know. I don't think there's there's not much wrong with it. It's just that it's got so many damn bales on it, I guess. I think the bale counter's inside here. I'm not 100% sure. It might be on the other side, I think. Yeah, probably. But yeah. So I'm glad to get this crap baled up. I wanted to get the other stuff baled up, but it was getting too late. And yeah, there was no sense of raking because the sun was literally right above the trees. I mean, that was about it. I don't even know if those last 2 windrows dried because when I went and opened them back up, I just left them. I didn't put them back together or anything because, well, it only took me a minute or 2 to rip them apart. Wasn't much of a, there was a slight breeze, but there was mostly sun. But I don't think they dried much. I mean, maybe by the time he got over there to bale them, maybe they did dry out. But see, I was already gone, so I just ripped them apart and parked the tractor because I was done for the day. Pretty much done for the day. I was hot. I was wore out. I drank a lot of water. I don't know. I think that's half a gallon, that jug. I don't know. But I drank just about all of that. I was pretty much down to the last couple ounces of water. But it's not that often that I'm drinking that much water that I need to get a bit. Well, it's not that I'm working all that much either. But yeah. So, looks like my tape's getting chewed up. This is that hydraulic hose, or the steering hose, that feeds the cylinder, and I wrapped it in tape so it would wear out the tape instead of wearing out the hose. I should actually let the young guy look at that. See, I think this hose is too long. I think it needs to be shorter, or it needs to be routed differently, but however they fucking routed it. This here was actually a brand new hose. When I had bought it and took it to the dealer to get the rim replaced and other stuff done to it, I seen that this hose was pretty shot, so I told them to replace that. Well, they routed it so stupid that it was rubbing on the damn axle. So I put tape on it, Looks like it's still rubbing into the tape, so maybe I'll put another layer of tape on it. Because tape is cheap, and put 60 rolls on that. You know, you wear the tape out before you wear the hose down, so. Because that's the last thing I need to do is blow a fucking hose, but I know I'm going to blow a hose anyway, because it's already been kind of nicked. I probably should just take it off and get a shorter one made up. You still need it somewhat long. Or it just needs to be rerouted. I don't know, but you need them somewhat long because this axle flexes, and you need the hose to move with it. So, but I think this is poor routing, but I don't know. But yeah, anyways, guys, I guess I'm going to take off. I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on here. Done baling pretty much for now until Monday maybe. See how the weather holds out. So. But yeah, anyways, guys, I guess have a good day and stuff. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Take her easy.